we burn out illusion. Say why yo, hey. Why me head I say, them live sorrow, tears and blood. Boom. Them regular trademark. What? Them live sorrow, tears and blood. Yo. Them regular trademark. Well, Babylon live sorrow, tears and blood. Them regular trademark. Them live sorrow, tears and blood. Run it!
Yes, people live and direct all the way from Germany. We have our guest today, go by the name Ngozi Okwuosa. I hope I got that. I hope I got that right.
Yes, perfect.
I hope I tried.
Yes, you did well.
Fantastic. Now, as John mentioned, it's Black History Month, and we've been celebrating the month with an interview series, right? I believe this is our second Black History Month interview, right? And we are talking with Ngozi today. She is a Nigerian German. She's an early child educator, kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, man.
She's an author, a producer, and she is the CEO of Rainbow Stars. Yes. So Rainbow Stars is basically an organization that deal with, I believe, produce children's books and stuff of that nature. Yes. So yeah, she's doing a lot of big things. And I can see in the background there. Are you at home, if I may ask?
Yes, I'm at home. This is live and direct from my living room.
Some of the work home. I see the fantastic. Fantastic. So actually, the first thing I'm gonna ask is, how are you feeling? Because I know, you're just getting over the COVID. I hope you're doing much better than...
I'm feeling better, but I might cough here and there, but I'm fine.
No problem. No problem. And we want to welcome Norma Agoro Kessington. That's my mom. She's joined us all the way from Lagos on her phone via Zoom. So big shout out goes out to my mom. So anyway, let's just kick it off straight away. So Ngozi, the first thing I'm going to ask you right now is that you were born in Germany, right? You are the first of 5 children of your parents, moved to Nigeria at age 6. Can you recollect the relocation, what year it was that you guys came back to Nigeria, and what was the experience like in terms of, can I say, maybe like the cultural shock or cultural differences and stuff like that, and how were you able to manage that?
My parents, my mom is German and my dad is Nigerian, and they got to know each other here in Germany when my father came to Germany to study. And then 3 of us were born. And then 1979, we relocated to Nigeria, to a very rural place called Abriba.
Okay.
In now it's Abia, but then it was part of Imo State.
Fantastic.
Yes. It was very interesting because as a child, you tend to experience culture more intensely than adults do, because when you play with children, you have a lot of contacts, a lot of social contacts, and then you I could immediately see that there's a difference in the way the children are and the children in Germany were. And it was very interesting because we spend a lot of time in nature. We were out a lot.
Fantastic.
We were almost like a little gang of kids that went into the bushes and into the wilds to pick some fruits that we didn't even know their English names. And we experienced a lot of insects and nature. I think Nigeria has changed so much since then. Of course. A lot of Nigerian children don't have that luck to experience our wonderful tropical nature, as definitely. It was in my childhood years.
Yes.
So that was the difference, that of course, experiencing the warm weather all year, as against to the 4 seasons we had in Germany, where then we couldn't go out all the time because sometimes it's cold. And then, of course, there's a season where nature is covered up in snow and ice. We didn't have that in Nigeria. So experiencing that, I would say, made childhood very light. There was some kind of lightness to growing up in Nigeria. Yes. And of course, because of that also brings people closer than in a culture where it's cold and environment where it's cold and people spend a lot of time indoors.
Just out of curiosity, did you by any chance meet any other children or families such as yourself who were kind of relocated back home?
Yes, there were many, quite many. For especially when we later moved away from the rural area and went to live in Aba, which is the biggest city in the east. And there we met a lot of people that had either one of the parents coming from Germany or Russia or Hungary or all over the place.
Yes, because that was the time when those were the times when Nigeria was good and a lot of parents were getting scholarships and going out to places like Germany, Hungary, and Russia. You know what I mean, on scholarships for to further their education. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Good intro.
And then of course they came back, as against today that many go and they don't come back anymore. But in those days, a lot of people still came back and wanted to develop Nigeria. They came with a lot of ambition to improve things.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. When did you realize your passion for working with kids?
I don't know how to say that. I think I've always had a feeling of being on the social side of life, interacting with others, observing culture, observing people, and then being, of course, the first child from 5. I always had to be hands-on and help at home. And then later I joined the Girls Guide. And I was a Sunday school teacher, and I was the prefect that took care of the younger students, class 1 and class 2 students in boarding house.
Of course.
So I feel that all of that prepared me for a life of working in an environment where you impact people. So it was just natural for me to go into that field.
Oh, okay. Being the eldest child in your family, did that help you groom? Did that help groom you into the role you are playing right now?
Yes, I would say that, because I always had to, help my mom with the younger ones. And of course, I observed how the younger ones were coming and growing. So I was able to see child development in practice, so that studying it later on was just like, okay, that's why they did that. And that's why that happened when, I'd already seen a lot of things that the teachers were talking about. Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Now, you obviously being kindergarten, teacher, and early childhood educator, and also being an author, you write children's illustration books, which usually come with, some music, I think over the years, we've kind of learned that music always helps children to learn easier, when you put things in rhyme and that. Now, in particular, there's a book in particular that you've written, right? It's called Rapulus. Right, it's about a boy with albinism, right? I want us to talk a little bit about that. I want us to talk a little bit about that. How did you come with the idea, especially to focus on a child, writing a book about a child, that suffers from albinism?
Yeah, I was on Facebook, and I have a Facebook friend whose first name happened to be Rapolo, and he explained he has albinism, and he explained how his childhood was, and how that impacted his life, and it took him so much to overcome some of the things that he experienced as a child and become a self-confident young man that he is now. And he always promised himself that when he grows up, he's going to help other students, so that children don't experience the things that he experienced growing up. So he actually started going to schools to talk to teachers, to build a bridge between children with albinism that often have bad eyesight, and they might have heightened sensibility to sound or smell. So because of that, there's a particular way they may have some extra needs that other kids don't have. And often teachers are not trained to be sensitive to that. So he goes in with the parents and the students to talk to the class and to the teachers. And I wanted to send him some books to take along, but I didn't find any book that made an African boy or girl with albinism the main character of the story.
Write your own book.
So I decided to write it. I have over 20 years now, experience of analyzing children's books for the kindergartens I work for. So I kind of know how a good story works, and what children like to hear and what gets to children. So I just decided to apply all of that and write that book. And to my amazement, it went well. And I sent the manuscript round, and a lot of people liked it, especially people with albinism. I had a lot of reactions that were so moving, because people were so touched that I went that way to write the book, find an artist that illustrates it. And I drove it all the way through. And that's why I have those stars there. Each star represents people or a group of people or persons with albinism.
Is the book actually here, in Nigeria for people to, like in circulation in schools and stuff like that?
It's not yet directly on the Nigerian market. It's available on Amazon and other international online bookshops. I am aware that it's not easy for somebody in Nigeria to order a book through this means, but that's the first step I had to take.
Of course.
The plan is to get people that will help me, organizations that are interested in driving it into the Nigerian market, not just Nigerian market, but down to the grassroots of different African countries. I'm in a conversation with people in Kenya, in Uganda, in South Africa, in Zambia. So I really want, my heart desire is that the book will go to the grassroots where where albinism is, how would I say, people with albinism are in danger, actually, because there's a lot of discrimination, there's a lot of superstitious belief that's attached to the condition. And in many countries in Africa, it's life-threatening to have albinism, because there's some superstitious belief that body parts of people can be used to produce a charm, or some kind of magic that could bring luck or evade evil. So because of that, some poor little children are experiencing a lot of harm. Like, sometimes they get attacked really bad.
Now, let me ask, that scenario that you painted just now, right? In Germany over there, when people hear these stories about just the stuff that you said just now, that goes on in Africa, what are some of the reactions that you get from the people in Germany? And sometimes how does it make you feel, and how do you, as someone who's, I guess, somewhat of an activist, right, how do you help to sort of counter
actually Rapulu's Rainbow Star, I wrote it with Africa in my heart. So it's not a book that I'm driving very heavily here in Germany.
All right.
I'm trying to get it to the Black community in Germany, and they are really moved and touched because the book is not just about albinism, or it also talks about Africa, and it's the setting is Nigeria,
Right.
and there's a lot of elements in the book that takes it beyond just albinism as a theme, although that's the strong focus.
Of course.
But there are elements in it like the way the family is dressed and the home where the family lives in the story, these pictures, or that Nigeria has two big rivers, and there's a map of Nigeria with different people of different tribes in the book, which was so important to me because I know that many children in Africa hardly have an atlas or a map of Nigeria. Yeah. So I wanted the story to show that, all of that. Okay. And of course, there's also a little bit, there's a little bit of a twist to colonialism in the story too, because in the story, Rapulu is seen as a white man, and so that's what hurts him so much, that he's not seen as a Black man. Okay. And so there are a lot of themes coming in so that even families that don't have children with albinism can enjoy it, and also German families read it and get exposed to what is happening in the world. And it's just good for children to read diverse books, not just one. And that's the general response I get from people that read it, so that
Okay, it's been wonderful talking to you all along, and it is 98.9 Invicta FM here in Nigeria, Kaduna, West Africa, and we are glad because of technology we can be talking to you in a time like this. Okay, now you are an author. You belong to an organization in Germany called ISD. Can you tell us what this organization is all about?
Yes, I have to correct it a little bit. I am in an organization that is attached to ISD. I just wanted to say that clear. So I am in a group of people that came together and said we want to produce more storybooks and reading books for children and young people with Black characters. We also want to support more Black Germans that want to give out their voice and tell their story, because we don't have a lot of that, and we need more of that. We need more books that our Black German children can identify themselves with, can find themselves in, and we also want to give more Black people a voice. So that's this group of people are under the ESD organization that is like an NGO that supports Black activity in any form, and also supports us. And some of us in that group are ESD members. Some are not yet, or may never be, but we are all passionate about bringing out children's literature with Black characters.
Okay. Just curiosity. Are you allowed out there in Germany to teach these Black children about their history, as in where they are coming from? Just like Bob Marley will say, if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're coming from.
Germany is a free country, and you can always create a community to talk about whatever is on your mind, as far as it's not harming other people. And because of that, we can organize ourselves, and we can talk, we can get even take it out into media, and there are people doing that a lot, especially ESD that is doing that. And of course, even I, as a kindergarten teacher, I can show some storybooks that also present this theme. There's no restriction, even though the classical Black History Month, the way we know it, maybe from America, It's not exactly how it's done here in Germany, because it's not that official. It's not a government thing. That is more like a thing that we Black people like and want to bring out and support, and we're doing it in style and in big ways.
Nice.
So there are events in Frankfurt right now for people that want to learn more, that want to get empowered, that want to get connected, inspired. I think this year's motto is "I am Black and," because we want to say we are more than Black. Being Black is great, but on top of that, we have other qualities and abilities.
Of course.
Yes.
Now, can you give us, as we know, it's Black History Month celebration going on. Can you give us an insight into how the Black History Month is celebrated in Germany? And, what are some of the typical, what are some of the typical sort of type of activities, that go on?
Yeah, there are a lot of things like reading from books, a lot of inviting of our heroes, because we have our Black German heroes,
all right,
people that survived the era where there was a lot of hate and discrimination right after the war or before the war here, the Second World War. Many people are not aware of the fact that not only Jews were killed and tortured, and that also Black people that were living in Germany in that area had a really tough time.
Okay.
And right after the war, to many years, it was they went through a lot, so it wasn't easy being Black in Germany for many years. And now things are getting a bit more easier and relaxed, but we still have some prejudice and some concepts that they have about Black people that we need to deconstruct and work on.
Of course. And
we need to get the power to define ourselves.
Of course.
And not allow white people to tell us who we are.
Now, do you from your observation, right, do you feel that the celebration of Black History Month is helping to break down, some of these prejudices and some of these things? Do you think that the Europeans in Germany, do you think that these celebrations is helping them to maybe have a better understanding of Black people and knowing how to kind of deal with us? Is it helping?
I think the first thing that is happening is that we are getting empowered, and we are developing a voice, and we are getting ourselves positioned also in political places. And we are encouraging ourselves to take up things that will challenge the normal, things that people see as normal. We come out and challenge it. And the ESD has done a lot. They've even renamed some streets that were named after some colonial masters or some people that really murdered a lot of Black people. So we have achieved a lot. We try to empower the young people a lot. And with that, when we have a voice and when we stand up and we speak out against things, we see change happening,
Nice.
And I think that's the most important thing. If we can be one and we can speak with one voice, that's the first thing that should happen before we can expect other people to respect us and listen to us.
Definitely.
Okay, from your perspective, why is it important that Black History Month is celebrated in Germany?
Yeah, because it gives us this time where we are creating more a community, and we're getting to know our voices and using them, and we're making ourselves visible There's visibility. It's a time to present our art, our literature, and to show that we are more than what people think we are sometimes. Yes.
Okay.
So
How do you think it helps the psychology of children of Africa descent growing up in Europe?
Where if they are exposed or taken into the community of groups that have this empowering programs, then it helps them a lot to be self-confident, to love themselves.
Yes.
But some Black children don't have that exposure, and we see that there can be lack of self-confidence, lack of self-love, when there is not that community and protection and empowering, because it's we are living in an environment where racism was very normal and still props up here and there. So it can hurt the self-confidence of a child.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, I want to ask, just before, we kind of let you go for the evening, I want to ask about this organization that you say you belong to. That some of you are members of the ISD and some of you are not. And what is the name of this organization, if I may ask first off?
Our name is the Kibu.
Ekibu.
Yes.
Okay. What does that mean?
Schwarze Kinder, that is Black children in storybooks or in books.
Okay.
Wow. Black children in story. Black children in storybook.
Fantastic.
A beautiful one.
Is that organization? I would assume that it's made up of a lot of people from with African backgrounds and stuff like that. So how do you guys for example, you have Nigerian background. There might be people maybe from Kenya, some people maybe from Zimbabwe. How do you guys come together?
We are actually Germans and we are Black. And some of us have been Germans for generations. We have Germans that are Black that were taken into Germany in pre-colonial times.
Wow.
They're just taken along and given to a king somewhere. And then for generation and generation, maybe they kept marrying a Black person again. Then it comes up again, the Black skin color and the Black eyes and the curly hair. So we have Germans that are not necessarily attached to Africa, but they are Black. And then we have, of course, some of our members that are first immigrants or second generation immigrants or third generation immigrants that are just, maybe the father or the grandfather came here.
Yeah.
We have Germans that their father was an American soldier and they were born here. So we have everything in as Black Germans.
Nice.
So some people don't have a direct tie to Africa or can even trace a direct route.
Okay.
But many can, of course.
Of course.
And there are also people that just actually, both parents are Nigerians. They were born in Nigeria and they come here to study and they're also a member of our group.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. And the final thing I want to ask you is, when can we expect you in Nigeria to come and push this book? Because honestly, it's needed here. To be quite honest with you. And I think from earlier chat that we had, I kind of hinted to that, especially when you're dealing with Nigeria, or should I say Africa, you actually need to kind of be on ground, to push things for people to see. We're not that how can I say, I don't think that we've actually reached that level where you can kind of sit down in Germany and we're pushing anything from over there.
Yeah.
You actually need to be on ground for people to not look at you, for Nigerians not to look at you as German, but to say, this is our sister. And they will listen.
So it is set up.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they're going to listen to you. That's when they're going to listen to you. So when can we expect you?
I'm hoping that if everything goes well, maybe June, July, August, somewhere in that summertime. Yes, I will be able to come down and talk to some organizations, or
it will be good.
I've always wanted to also visit schools, so I'm always open to anybody that would want to join me to make this book a reality in Nigeria, or in any other part of Africa.
Of course.
It's such an important topic. I think generally, when it comes to the topic of disability, we need to do more in Nigeria in the education sector.
That brings me to where I will let you know that in Nigeria, especially where we are talking to you from, Kaduna, each of the states in Nigeria has a slogan, but where we are talking to you is Kaduna State, and the slogan in Kaduna is Center of Learning. So if you want to get the most educated people in Nigeria, they come from this state. So I think
starting point.
This should be your starting point. So Kaduna should be your starting point. It is called the Center of Learning.
So I guess
I see that as an invitation.
I guess technically we're kind of maybe technically we're kind of volunteering ourselves, because honestly, it is as you mentioned earlier, it is a very important subject matter. That we do hear about a lot of horrific things. You know what I mean? That some kind of mild, you know what I mean, and some extreme stuff, that we hear. I don't think that the situation is that bad in Nigeria now as it is in some African countries. I think we're a bit more enlightened, you know what I mean, over here now. But definitely we look forward to quite possibly working with you, and definitely seeing you when you're able to make it down.
All right. Well, it's been great talking to you, and hoping to talk to you more and more often.
Definitely.
On this station, 98.9 Invicta FM. Thank you for your time.
And thanks for inviting me.
Yo, well, fire we have to burn out illusion. Say why yo, hey. Why me head I say, them live sorrow, tears and blood. Boom. Them regular trademark. What? Them live sorrow, tears and blood. Yo. Them regular trademark. Well, Babylon live sorrow, tears and blood. Them regular trademark. Them live